Is anyone's life worth more than others? So I'm going to say two things. I'm going to give a short answer to this, and then I'm going to give a long answer to this. First, the short answer is no. No one's life is more valuable than anyone else. Every person is created in the image and likeness of God. Every person is loved into being by the divine. Everyone has equal dignity and equal value insofar as they are a person, because you were made in the image and likeness of God. So you are equal to all others. Now, I will say that if we look out into the world, it seems as though there are hierarchies. Some people are better at things than other people. And I would say that this is based solely on their characteristics, on their attributes. So let's use a silly example. If I were going to go out and play basketball, I would try to find someone who is really tall, because they probably would be better at basketball because they would have an advantage. That doesn't mean that they're a more valuable person, doesn't mean that they're a better human being. It just means in this very limited scenario, they would have a characteristic or an attribute that would help them succeed in this moment. And so when we look out into the world, there are people that have characters or attributes that would help them in very specific things. So for example, a person who's good at math might be very useful in looking at like economy and like making decisions financially. Or a person who's very kind and caring might be a better person at being a nurse or someone who's caring for others than someone who's not. They have different characteristics and they might succeed in these various different circumstances, but every person is loved by God. And so, no, every person has equal value, equal dignity because they are made in the image and likeness of God. But if we look out into the world, we do see some people have attributes or characteristics that help them succeed in very specific things. So perhaps another example might help here. When we look out into the world, at times we will judge people and make determinations about how good or bad they might be, whether that might be successful or unsuccessful. We look on the people passing in the streets, we make judgments about them. However, the great Saint Mother Teresa didn't do such things. When she went and she looked at people, she saw a person loved by Christ. She saw Jesus in them. And so she treated every person with that dignity and respect because she recognized every person has this fundamental value. And if we had the eyes of Christ, that's how we too would see everyone. Someone loved by God, someone who is made in that image and likeness of the divine. And so yes, when we look out into the world, we can make distinctions. We can say this person's better at baseball, that person's better at basketball, that person's really smart, that person's not so smart. But when we look through the eyes of Christ, we see every person as having that equal value, that equal love of God present in them.